呢位係我想問咧，就係私人屋苑裏邊啊，佢有個嗰個 DMC 裏邊咧，係有一個條款咧，就係話唔準養狗啦，即係除非咧就得到管理人嘅批准嗰個 consent。咁我點樣可以逼到佢列出晒即係乜嘢條件底下我可以養狗咧？
That's the case which you have mentioned before. If the DMC prohibits keeping pets, but with the consent of the management company, they can. So, what can they do to get the management company's consent?
It doesn't matter what the management company consent to. It only matters what the incorporated owners consent to. The building managers are their agents, but it's very important if you come to that agreement, you agree with you get the agreement with the incorporated owners management committee, and that. But even if you get that agreement, that doesn't mean that the committee doesn't have to. The committee doesn't have to stick to that agreement forever, because the DMC still says no pets. So even if you have that agreement, of course it is a valid agreement between you, but to a certain extent it's unenforceable in the long run.
咁基本上咧，如果個公契咁樣講咧，你要揾嘅咧唔係個管理公司，因為管理公司根本上都係業主立案法團請嘅啫，佢係業主立案法團嘅代理人嚟嘅，所以咧你要針對揾業主立案法團去同你有呢一個協議俾你養狗，咁業主立案法團就可以叫管理公司俾嗰個即係 consent 俾你啦咁但係要留意嘅就係咧，就算因為個公契始終係寫咗你唔可以養㗎，咁所以就算佢而家俾你即係寬鬆俾你去做呢件事咧，佢遲啲咧係可以話收翻呢一樣嘢嘅，咁所以呢個唔係一個即係長久嘅辦法。
In that situation, you are in a weak legal position, but you are in quite a strong commercial position, because the incorporated owners won't want to take action against anyone who has a pet. So commercially, they will, I think, come to that agreement on most occasions. Otherwise, they have to bring proceedings against not just the dog owners, but against anyone who has a pet. And that may mean 80% of the building. So they would never be able, I don't think, realistically, to get the majority of the other owners in the building to support such legal proceedings. So it's a commercial issue.
Fiona 都有少少嘢講。
Actually, I have a question. I haven't seen some of these agreements, but I do understand there is terms written in some DMCs where it says it is at the management office and management company's consent. So they say no dogs allowed unless you get consent from the management office.
Or say consent.
Yeah.
With the consent.
Now, the question is if people go through and they do a mediation process, they create an interest group of responsible pet owners who develop a code and they do all the steps, which probably would actually help the management give consent. Are they in a stronger legal position?
I think the simple answer to that is in the long run, no. Because the DMC says no thanks. And legally, it's very, very, very difficult to change the terms of DMC unless almost every owner in the building agrees to change it, because you cannot waive the terms of a DMC. It's as simple as that. But again, the commercial position, if you come to that arrangement, is that if everybody in the building and all the owners are happy with that arrangement, again, it will be very hard for the management committee to get enough support to bring those proceedings. So legally, again, you're not in a strong position, but commercially, if you've gone through all that trouble and all the owners are happy with that, then it's unrealistic to expect the management committee would get enough support to bring those proceedings, to interfere with that arrangement.
得唔得？你好長喎，一路講緊幾個。簡單啲講啦，嗬。
係咁嗱，大家一路都講緊啦，其實嗰個主要就係講公契咧，就係最緊要㗎啦。咁所以如果公契寫到明咧，你法律上咧，你個就係比較弱嘅，但係唔緊要。有一樣嘢就係咧，因為我諗最 其他嘅業主係咪都好反對話個大廈可以養寵物？因為咧，如果終於個管理公司係要真係差你啦，咁佢係要請律師啊咁樣去進行法律嘅成個程序啦。咁佢就係要揾所有業主咧，要大多數去通過佢去使錢請律師嚟告你嘅。咁所以變咗，即係呢個就係唯一你雖然法律上你可能係唔啱嘅，咁但係如果佢好難揾到大部分業主去同意使呢筆錢去告你咧，咁變咗即係實質上佢就未必係咁容易可以阻止到你養動物咯。
都係講翻嗰個20萬嗰個問題，20萬樓上嘅話咧，佢一定要出標書。如果係佔呢個大廈嗰個成個預算嘅20% 嘅話咧，佢更加要係業主開業主大會，叫所有業主去投票去做呢樣嘢。咁所以我諗即係你要睇翻佢哋會唔會有真係會去使呢筆錢，亦都即係其實我諗最主要係多啲溝通啦，同業主立案法團睇下佢意向啊各樣嘅。
加埋頭先Fiona講咗一樣嘢話如果大家即係業主有寵物嘅業主走埋一齊去整一個守則出嚟，自我監察，或者係點樣做一個負責任嘅主人，去即係唔會影響到其他業主。咁呢一度咧，Kevin 答咗咧，法律上當然係唔會幫到你嘅，你加咗呢一個咁嘅守則。但係咁樣可能就幫到你嘅咧，就係等其他業主企喺你嗰邊咯，因為始終咧係業主法團去請呢一個管理公司嘅。
我衍生咗阿 Iris 都可以，即係當年去公屋都真係要有啲守則，譬如係好似夜晚9點至到第二朝先至可以用電梯嘅呢樣嘢。咁其實就有啲即係要有啲條件你先至可以同人哋講㗎嘛，係咪先？要同人哋談。
其實就唔係我哋建議嘅，係建議咗啲好啲，即係鬆動啲嘅，但係就房署就俾翻一啲即係黑少少，即係差少少嘅建議。但係喺嗰陣時嚟講，我諗我哋冇得 say no 咯。係。咁我 always mediate with the incorporate owners is the best solution for everything. 呢位先生係咪有啲問題啊
？Mr. Brown, I'm living in a private estate and keeping a dog. I have a DMC in my hand. So that I want to have a look and some.
How much money have you got?
Would you like to have a look and advise whether I can, is there any point I can fight for it to keep a dog in my flat?
Do you have to read out a disclaimer first? You do.
Oh, okay. Oh, 李景灣嗰邊係咪啊？
I see pigeons feature again. Again, this is advice. I can't give you advice, but just thinking out loud. You may listen, you may not. The provision here says that you are not allowed to keep a dog in any part of the building except with the written consent of the manager. And here's the important bit. Such consent may be absolutely withheld or granted on such conditions payment of such fees as the manager may at its sole discretion from time to time stipulate. Now, when consent is required by the manager, I take quite a stiff view that if the consent is withheld unreasonably, even though it's within the discretion of the building manager, if the building manager, acting as agent for the incorporated owner, is acting in a discriminatory way, in an unfair way, because he doesn't like you. If there's no sound basis for that decision, the fact that he has exercised that discretion against you would validate the refusal to allow you to have the dog. So I think there would be an implied term that the incorporated owner or the building manager must act reasonably when deciding whether to allow that consent or not. So if your dog is silent, has never made a mess, doesn't bother anybody in and out of the building, if the manager says no, we're not going to give our consent, if it gives no reasons or gives unreasonable reasons or has come to its decision unreasonably, then you may have grounds to have a go. And again, that's not advice. I'm just speaking out loud.
即係用中文講先啦，佢唔係俾緊法律意見嘅，請大家，即係呢個純粹個人意見啦。我都係我唔係俾緊法律意見，因為我都係律師。講翻咧就係頭先個公契嗰度講咧，就話你唔可以養狗啦。咁除非咧你有管理公司俾你啦，咁但係咧管理公司係有絕對嘅決定權去決定俾唔俾你嘅。好啦，咁就住呢個問題你點樣咧？咁Kevin 嘅意見就係咧，雖然佢有絕對嘅決定權，但唔代表佢可以無理咁樣去作呢個決定嘅。咁所以咧，如果佢真係想禁止你養狗，佢應該有一啲理據，譬如你嘅狗好嘈或者好整到周圍污糟晒。如果佢係完全冇任何理據嘅話咧，你就算個公契寫到咁，你都依然可以同佢係理論呢件事咯。